It's 8 p.m. in Banjul. This is the news. First, our top stories. Standard Chartered Bank's Executive Director answers questions from the Janneh Commission on the sale of Premier Agro Oil Gambia. Deputies at the National Assembly preview the Gambia's 2018 national budget. African nations concerned that President Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as capital of Israel could increase tension in the region. And Zimbabwe's finance minister unveils the country's 2018 budget estimates under the new president. These and many more coming ahead in this hour. I am Jaina Bajalo Moro. The AC is not on. Officials from the banking industry continue to appear before the Commission of Inquiry that is looking into the economic and financial activities of former President Jammeh. The Executive Director of Standard Chartered Bank, Usman Jai, answered questions on the sale of Premier Agro Oil Gambia. SSO reports.
The Premier Agro Oil Gambia Limited Company is situated at the Denton Bridge. The company was involved in the processing of groundnut oil, which was either sold locally or exported to other countries. In 2005, the company took a loan from Standard Chartered Bank. However, it defaulted in the payment of the loan. The bank then took over the assets of the company before engaging the Ministry of Finance in selling the company for $20 million. The Executive Director of Standard Chartered Bank, Usman Jai, today appeared before the Janneh Commission to answer questions on the reported sale.
Did Standard Chartered Bank sell Premier Agro Oil Limited to the government?
Yes, we did.
When?
It was sold in 2006, and what I have here with me is acknowledgement from the Standard Chartered Bank to Honorable Musa Balagay, confirming receipt of $10 million, being 50% payment of the sale sum of the Premier Agro to the Gambia government.
The Standard Chartered Bank official acknowledged that the bank received two separate payments between 2006 and 2007 for the sale of the company. In each occasion, the bank received a $10 million. Correspondence and documents for the sale were tendered by Njai and marked as exhibits. Commission officials also sought a clarification for a $2.5 million draft or loan which was given to Karaba Beach Hotel by Standard Chartered Bank under Mohamed Karafi. But Njai explained that the bank is unable to trace the file containing the transactions in their archive. He said some of the bank officials that were involved in the transaction of the loan are no more with the bank.
We've made an extensive search of the archives itself, but can't find this particular file. As of now, we are not unable to locate the file. That is the Karaba file. Having said that, the Premier Agro file was in a different location, and it was kept in a safe, and that's where we're able to access this.
Why was it in a different location? These are all credits, right?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain?
I mean, it's the nature of the filing, actually. That's it. There is no particular reason why the Premier Agro or the Karaba, they're in different areas. But like I said, I mean, the retention period for these documents is 7 years. Sometimes we hold on to it much longer than usual.
At this point, Commission officials said most of the evidence provided by Njai regarding the loan are hearsay and called on the bank to work on tracing the missing file. Issa Sow, GRTS News.
The National Assembly Wednesday previewed the 2018 budget paper at a day-long session held at the Assembly Chambers in Banjul. We hope to bring you details of that report in our 10 p.m. newscast.
10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. newscast. 10 p.m. n
The World Health Organization, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, on Tuesday organized a 2-day sensitization training on health reporting for members of the Association of Health Journalists. Aissatou Jata reports.
We've been training journalists, but I'll call that informing, orienting them. But this particular one is designed in a way that, journalists or health journalists will communicate better for behavioral change, and also will contextualize health, because health is beyond hospitals, health is beyond diseases, health is so complicated, so complex. So we have to bring, journalists must understand those critical determinants of health and use them to write their stories.
World Health Organization has long been supporting the training of health journalists through building the capacity of reporters in health reporting. This is crucial in addressing key issues in the health sector.
One thing you have to have it at the back of your mind is that we are changing challenges, problems to solutions. This is the direction we are going. We know the arithmetics, how many people are dying, those things, we are sick and tired of them. We also know when experts come, they talk, but how do we change those challenges to solutions? And this is where we are preparing you as journalists to make sure that you have these skills.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, noted the importance of closer collaboration between partners to help address the increasing health information, communication and education challenges.
In all health structures, the people that matter most are the ones who help to prevent the diseases. And when it comes to communication or information, you are the ones who become the forefronts in ensuring that people are well protected. And this is why we would like to thank really the GRTS, because they have really done an extraordinary job in the past by the introduction of Jata Kendeya, for those who might not know, and also Wergu Yaram. These are key programs that were educating the population on the health complications.
Isa Davis, representative of the Minister of Information, Communication and Infrastructure, described the training as timely and as sort of her ministry's readiness to support and work with WHO and the Health Ministry to promote initiatives that enhance health communications.
We are repeatedly told by experts that many health conditions and problems we face today can be prevented if people have access to and understand the basic health information they need to promote their health. Unfortunately, this is not the reality, because many people around the world, including the Gambia, cannot read and write or even understand the language in which some of these health information are packaged and delivered.
Dr. Desta Etroni is the new World Health Organization representative to the Gambia.
If we see in history, in the West, they were able to eliminate most of the diseases just because of economic and social development. Not because they were doing, the basic health service delivery mechanisms and so on. Because the moment people's income improves, you will start living in a better place. You will start eating better food. You will start to be, more conscious of your hygiene. That will take you out of most of the risks of, common disease.
These participants, drawn from different media houses, both the print and electronic, will undergo critical health contexts, including emergencies, reporting health for sustainable development goals, updates on reproductive and child health, and how to promote health reporting in the Gambia, among other relevant topics. Aissatou Jata, GRTS.
The African Center for Trade, Integration and Development and the Open Society Initiative for West Africa Wednesday held a consultative meeting on cross-border areas in the Gambia. Yeri Jallo has more on that.
Was aim, among other things, to enhance participants' knowledge on the protocols governing the integration of people and regional markets. In his opening remarks, the governor of West Coast Region, Ibemambalo, said the forum will expedite the promotion of regional integration in the areas of trade and free movement of goods and people in the sub-region.
It is therefore a laudable initiative that ECOWAS Citizen House, MCC, and its partners ENDA, JAPOL, CACID, and OSIWA have taken up themselves to organize this meeting. I therefore call on all of us to work towards integration, for which, when we integrate, people and goods will move free to safer destinations. Let us all come together, put our hearts and minds together, unite as one big family and move our sub-region. We are all authorities as administrative and local authorities. We all have important roles to play in ensuring free movement of people and goods in West Africa and beyond.
Governor Mbalu reaffirmed his region's resolve to collaborate and provide support for the initiative. The coordinator of the West African Center for Trade, Integration and Development, Alexandra Gomez, urged the participants to utilize the knowledge gained. For GRTS News, this is Zero Jano reporting.
40 Gambian youths from across the country Wednesday began an induction exercise ahead of the agricultural training program spearheaded by the Youth Empowerment Project. As Mamadou Bajan reports, the team will be trained in aquaculture, seed multiplication, animal husbandry and plant production.
The induction is one of the last engagements of these 40 trainees who are to be equipped with aquaculture, seed multiplication, animal husbandry and plant production skills. Youth Empowerment Project Manager Raymond Musa underlined the vitality of building the capacity of youths in agricultural productivity.
We want to provide alternatives here in the Gambia, jobs with a future that are interesting to the youths. We know agriculture is the backbone of this country, of this economy, and we know that a lot of opportunities, not just jobs, but interesting opportunities lies in agriculture. You know, it's regrettable that there are not enough training opportunities for the youths in this sector. So I'm very pleased and I'm very happy that now a new training opportunity is starting today.
NARI ITC Youth Empowerment Program Coordinator Lamin B. Sonko, as well as the National Seed Secretariat's Chief Seeds Officer Moro Manga, also described the aims of the activity as empowerment-oriented.
This training would not have come at a better time than now, when the government of the Gambia has established the first National Seed Secretariats to coordinate, regulate, administer, and carry out all functions of seed industry development and planning in the country. You are chosen among the host of applicants in the country, and then we expect you to deliver up to expectations.
The aim of these trainings, ladies and gentlemen, is to equip these youths with agricultural skills that they can use to be self-employed and enhance their livelihoods. The choice of these 4 areas is based on the potentials seen in them. We've had the Chief Seeds Officer talk about the formation of the National Seed Council as well as the National Seed Secretariat. So our hope is that the 10 that will be trained under this component will transition to become some actors within the seed value chain.
By means of this capacity building engagement, participants Mbake Dabo and Lamin Jata, a returnee from Libya, are looking forward to partake in the betterment of the country's largely important agricultural sector.
It was part of my plans to have a training like this one, especially on animal husbandry. Projects like this one is very good. Maybe 2 of us are fortunate to be part of this program. If there can be projects like this one for the returnees, that would be very good.
Youth issue is key in government service delivery. We have seen before you what you'll be engaged in seed certification. That's a real, very, very important engagement for any farmer, particularly dealing with seeds. That's the driver to agricultural transformation. We must get it right.
With youth totaling around 60% of the population, it is hoped that such skills acquisition endeavors can greatly enhance the Gambia's agricultural sector. Modu Bajan reporting for GRTS News.
A former head of the National Center for Arts and Culture, Tijan Kamara, has launched a book that focuses on marriage in Wolof culture. The book, titled The Wolof Marriage, Narratives, Interpretation and Motives, joined a list of books that examine indigenous local traditions and norms. Ibrahim Jata tells us more.
In the Gambia's cultural scene, Tijan Kamara is a household name who has constantly worked to educate the masses and enhance cultural understanding of the country's traditional heritage. The former chairperson of the Board of Directors of the National Center for Arts and Culture is especially focused on documenting ancient norms of the Gambia. His vocations are extensive, ranging from poetry to prose, acting and music. The cultural expert was once the cultural director of the Gambia National Troupe. Yet stopping is a word unknown to Tijan Kamara, who continues to add impetus to the Gambia's cultural scene. His latest inspiration observes a rather unexplored subject that delves into the wall of culture of marriage, observing its essentials and unique standards that make it different from all other traditions.
However, despite the odds, it is my desire to come up with more publication on arts and culture, which I think, if utilized by our schools, would help a great deal in reorientating our children who are the most affected by Western acculturation.
At a moment of great acculturation, fusing global customs and lifestyles, writing and chronicling the country's history and traditional heritage has become an imperative that challenges the Gambia's historians and intellectuals.
People are going around the world, not only as tourists, but going around the world to discover culture. And that is something that the Gambia has in abundance. And we need to put it in context and also in pride of place.
At the NCAC, a deliberate effort is being driven to use the Gambia's cultural legacy to promote the destination and enhance tourism development. With NCAC at the fore of that effort, a writers' forum and association is being used to galvanize the development of local prose and poetry. Cultural officials are hopeful about an enlightened future.
At the time, you could only count on Dr. Peters, who was a medical surgeon who got not more than 40 minutes of his time a day to write a book. So that's the biggest sin. And today, we have intellectuals, people of renowned knowledge, with vast experience.
The launch of the traditional wall of marriage was a moment to reflect on the critical traditional norms being slowly effaced by modernization and Western values. Yet as officials advance a deliberate initiative to enhance cultural education that taps into the Gambia's unique ways and mores, Tijan Kamara's works become even more relevant for a public increasingly relying on historians and cultural experts to shed light on ancient and indigenous traditions that tell the Gambia's story. Etienne Silva, GRTS News.
Farafenni Marathon Association recently donated medical items worth thousands of dollars to the surgical ward of the Farafenni General Hospital. Seydou Kamara has more.
The medical items are meant to contribute to the improvement of healthcare delivery in the region. This development comes after the Farafenni Marathon Association adopted a surgical ward of the hospital. Malan Kamara spoke on behalf of the chairperson of the association, said the objective is to contribute to the well-being of the people of Farafenni and the Gambia at large. He noted that adopting a ward at the hospital will help improving lives in the area.
The Farafenni Marathon Association was formed with the primary objective of contributing towards the upliftment of the welfare of the people of Farafenni and environs. We have our main areas of focus, and these happen to be education, sports, health, and the environment.
The Chief Executive Officer of the hospital expressed gratitude to the donors. He said the equipment will add value to their work and assure of the proper keep of the ward.
This is a significant milestone in the sense that since the inauguration of this hospital in 1999, Farafenni Marathon Association is the first local organization to have actualized the adoption of a unit or a ward in this hospital. This association has been supporting the hospital over the years. After every marathon that is done, proceeds from the marathon are usually donated to institutions, and this hospital has never at any point in time been left out from those institutions.
The nursing in charge also thanked the members of the Farafenni Association for the gesture. For his part, Aliou K. Jammeh advised the youths to be united and dismiss anything that will bring difference among them. The need to maintain a quality health system is important to the development of the country, and this step, according to the governor of the region, Ibrahim S.K. Damfa, is in line with the government's development programs.
This is a very good gesture. We have been doing this before, and it's part of our corporate social responsibility that we have been doing, and that's what we are exactly doing. I know there are so many words here, there are so many sponsors, and I'm sure the management knows how to utilize all those sponsorship items that have been coming in here to the maximum benefit of the patients and the staff, as it were. Now, so we want to thank you on behalf of this management, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and his government.
The items donated include drainage bag, ceiling fans, syringes, and other critical medical items. Saidu Kamara, GRTS News.
Well, sports is next right after these commercials. Stay with us.
Carry your bank everywhere you go with the GT Bank Gambia mobile app. Take control of your account anytime, anywhere with
Fast Track Service, a brand new way to using local Valve cards, Visa International and MasterCards. Valve and Visa or MasterCard holders of any domestic bank can walk into our branches and withdraw cash using our POS terminals. There is no longer the need to fill out forms or wait for teller processes. Withdrawing cash is now easier with the new GT Bank Fast Track Service. GT Bank Fast Track Service available to even non-customers of the bank who hold a Valve, Visa or MasterCard. It's fast, convenient, reliable and safe. GT Bank, wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Welcome back to GRTS News. The second edition of the ECOWAS Region Parasports Championship has concluded in the Gambia. The three-day event provided a platform for persons living with disabilities to showcase their abilities in major sporting activities. Mamadou Lamin Sane reports.
Activities of the second edition of ECOWAS Regional Parasports Championship has ended in Banjul. The three-day championship, which drew participants from countries within ECOWAS region, saw them compete in basketball and some middle-distance race. And the basketball final was a Senegambia derby between the Gambia and Senegal. It was a game full of passion and excitement. Gambia proved to be the better side, taking the lead from the first quarter, but their rivals stormed to level in the fourth quarter. but Gambia finally won in the final round.
It's a happiness for us, definitely. At the beginning, we want to win this tournament. We told you that. We went to Guinea because of referee decision. That's why they win us. So we came back, we organized it. We said this time we are going to win it.
Another major activity was the middle distance race, which also featured Gambia winning all the race in the male and female category.
I feel very happy because this is not the first time I'm taking part in this Paralympic sports. I thank God that I'm having a female competition now because other females are coming up. So that is a good goal for me.
It was a challenge, but I didn't necessarily say that I have to at least compete because I'm competing on the behalf of the visual impaired athletes, because most people think that visual impaired, the only opportunity to have is to seek for charity. That is the visual impaired blind. We say no to that because, as you can see, I compete in the marathon. I took first.
The climax of the event was accorded by an official closing ceremony.
So today is a remarkable day in the history of Paralympics, in the history of ECOWAS regional parasports. The day is put aside on the 3rd of December as it is a day that is set aside by the General Assembly of the United Nations as a day of persons with disabilities in order to promote and create and give the human rights, both sports, cultural, educational, and everything, for persons with disabilities to be fully integrated and inclusive in society.
And most outstanding participants and organizers were awarded certificates. Such occasions provide rare moments for persons living with disability to showcase their ability as they interact with friends. Reporting for GRTS Sports, I am Mudlamin Sane.
We'll look at news from outside the Gambia right after this break. There have been reactions from African nations on U.S. President Donald Trump's formal recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. South Africa's ruling ANC has expressed its concern over the move. Meanwhile, the African Union Commission chairperson Musa Faki Mohammed says the move will only increase tension in the region. CGTN's Jerome Chala reports.
Has always displayed strong solidarity with the Palestinian people and its supposed request for an independent and sovereign state with East Jerusalem as its capital. But now that President Donald Trump has made his decisions of recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital clear, the AU is not happy. Through a statement, the chairperson of the commission, Musa Faki Mohammed, said President Donald Trump's decision is a means to derail the already complicated peace process between Israel and Palestine. And he believes this move will also elevate tensions in the Middle East. According to the statement, the AU's Faki Mohammed has called for a renewed international efforts to find a just and lasting solution to the conflict based on the existence of two states, Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace and security within the framework of relevant African Union and United Nations pronouncements. Kumtala CGTN, Pretoria, South Africa. The African Union.
In just a couple of hours, Zimbabwe's Finance Minister Patrick Chinamasa will unveil his 2018 budget. The country's first under a new president, CGTN's Farai Makotuyo, gives us a preview of what to expect.
Patrick Chinamasa, back in charge of finance, will probably have the same revenue, just under $4 billion as he did this year to work with. And there's only so much he can do with it. That's why most of the interest ahead of his budget statement is not about his allocations, but more about policy interventions to accelerate improvements to the business and investment climate.
We are expecting the minister to announce reforms around sustaining those doing business reforms, and also even institutional reforms with respect to our parastatals and state enterprises, so that they can begin to play a more catalytic role towards sustaining development in this era that we are in.
Last year, Chinamasa projected he'd limit the budget deficit to $400 million. He's overshot that by 4 times. It's now expected to breach $1.8 billion.
With Zimbabweans due to go to the polls in 2018, there is a tendency to spend more ahead of an election, and that could make Patrick Chinamasa's efforts to rein in that ever-widening deficit more difficult.
I think fiscal consolidation and substantive reforms can't be done at least before the election. I think those kind of reforms probably would be done feasibly after the election, because in an election year, fiscal expenditures tend to increase, so there's likely to be a lot of pressures on the fiscal expenditure side, which will make it difficult to reduce the budget deficit.
Pro-poor, social and development expenditures are likely to dominate the budget. Chinamasa is also expected to come up with measures to improve revenue collection, plug illicit financial outflows, and encourage electronic payments in the face of a long-running currency crisis. Farai Makotuyo, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
And before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's main stories. Standard Chartered Bank's Executive Director has answered questions from the GRTS Commission on the sale of Premier Agri-Oil Gambia Limited. Deputies at the National Assembly have been previewing the Gambia's 2018 national budget. African nations are concerned that President Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel could increase tension in the region. And Zimbabwe's finance minister has unveiled the country's 2018 budget estimates under the new president. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and join us again at 10 p.m. for another edition of the news.